My name is Michelle, and I'm the person behind Momma Goose Stitches. And I kind of wanted to bring to you a new type of series to my platform and talk about questions and answers of cross stitch. And it's not that I am the expert on it, but I've been doing some researching. It's been a lot of fun, and I just wanted to kind of bring that information to you. So, I definitely this last week have been doing a lot of research on just the basics of cross stitch. And I thought that you would enjoy some smaller videos. That's why I'm going to do like questions and answer little videos. And that there's lots of questions that are out there that we all have, but we just haven't asked those questions, or maybe we assume that a lot of other people know these questions. So I kind of wanted to go over them and see what I could answer. And I am going to be looking at my notes. So I have my notes back here, and I am going to be looking at them. I do apologize. I just can't remember everything in the important details and the notes and stuff. And I just wanted to make sure that I'm letting you know all the correct information that I have found. Now, in order to get started with these types of videos, I kind of wanted to do like a baseline, like figure out a baseline and then go from there. So basically, believe it or not, I have seen where a lot of people are asking the basic question of what is cross stitch. Now, I know that that's not a fascinating question, but I did some research and I found some interesting and fascinating facts. So I want y'all to be here with me. Come along, listen about what I found out about cross stitch. And the first thing, and I know, as I said, it's not an interesting question because we all know, but I wanted to give you the basic definition of it. And it is, let me read it for you because this is the definition. Cross stitch is a type of embroidery in which a pattern is created by making small X-shaped stitches with thread on a piece of fabric. It is a popular form of needlework that is often used to create decorative and artistic pieces such as wall hangings, clothing embellishments, or samplers. So there you go. There's the basic definition of cross stitching. So maybe that's why we haven't asked what it is, because it's kind of boring, right? But what I did find fascinating as I dug into this question was that cross stitch is believed to have originated in ancient Egypt. And there are examples of X-shaped stitching that's been found in the remains of Coptic textiles dating all the way back to the 4th century AD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a couple of pictures in here for you so you can look at it. I also found where there was some information that stated that cross stitch was dated back to the Tang dynasty from 1618 to 906 AD. So what I found interesting, especially on that first picture of that Egyptian one, was that, or no, I'm sorry, it's the second picture. I kind of blew it up so you could really look at it. You can really see where there are holes that they could actually make the X's. So I thought that was really interesting, and I love looking at that information. And as you know, Jeffrey, my little sweetheart, he loves everything Egyptian, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But let's continue on all the other research that I found. Now, I myself am more of the Tang dynasty. I love all things Asian. So it's kind of funny how we try to do our mixes together sometimes in the house. But anyways, that's beside the point. Let's get back to cross stitch, right? So the technique that we call cross stitching became more popular in Europe during the Middle Ages, where it is often used to decorate ecclesiastical textiles, such as like the Christian church, like the clergyman, the priest. It also they decorated like, they put a cloth on the altar and they decorated that. And I do believe that I have a couple of pictures from that era, and I'm going to put them in here. Now, the one thing that I found very interesting is like that second picture. It's more embroidery looking than the X-shaped, that's hardest to say, I tell you, than the X-shaped stitches that you see in our craft. But it kind of goes with how cross stitching nowadays has expanded into those like specialty stitches, and how sometimes you get the question, is embroidery the same as cross stitch? Which basically, cross stitch is actually a type of embroidery. But if you wanted me to dig deeper into that type of research, I definitely will. So just go below, list some questions that you have, and I'm going to be digging deeper and deeper into other topics. But I just wanted to at least bring this to you. So since there was not any pattern books or anything like that, stitchers would keep their samples on these long kind of strips of cloth. And that's where we get the name of the samplers that we all know and love today. Now, the samplers were not intended to be showcased on a wall. They were actually safeguarded. They were rolled up and kept kind of safeguarded. And the reason being is because all the stitches that they had learned or the patterns that they had done, it's all together on that one piece of fabric. So they kind of safeguarded it. Now, samplers in themselves would be a whole different video. So I'm not going to quite go into the samplers, but one of the earliest surviving dated samplers was stitched by an English girl named Jane Bostoke, I think is what her name was, and it was back in 1598. Now, the inscription on this sampler, which I'm going to show you here, commemorates the birth of a child named Alice Lee in 1596, and that was Jane's cousin, basically. And I think it was kind of neat. If you look up, I apologize, I'll put it in again. And if you look up near where the alphabet is where you're going to be able to read Alice up at the very top. Now, it's quite unclear who invented cross stitch, and the technique was likely, it evolved over time, was used by so many different people, so many different cultures, so many different communities. However, it is known that cross stitch was used extensively in the medieval Europe, and that it became a popular pastime for women in the 16th and 17th centuries. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a big jump to today. The reason why I'm jumping from that time until today is because samplers evolve a lot of that. And as I said, I'd rather do like a different kind of video with that. So we're just going to go ahead and take that leap. One reason why I think that cross stitch is so popular today is its accessibility. Not only do your big box stores like Walmart, Target, or those kind of things are selling, or Hobby Lobby, are selling patterns, they're selling books, they're selling cross-stitch kits, they sell the fabrics, so it's just easily accessible for everybody. And I think the other big, huge thing that happened is the internet. And I think that exploded our reach for cross-stitch. So why do people cross stitch? I believe the reason is because basically the technique is relatively simple to learn how to cross stitch. And that's one of the videos I'm going to do, is how to cross stitch in the many different ways. But it only requires like basic materials, such as a needle, a thread, a fabric to stitch on. Additionally, the repetitive nature of cross stitching can be calming, meditative. It is kind of like a relaxing and enjoyable activity source for so many people. Now, I will say that I cross stitch for that exact reason. It's a huge stress reliever for me. I think that a lot of people started the craft and revived it right around the pandemic. And it's also where many who didn't know that there was more out there besides Ada and the big box kind of kits, the internet showed them. Oh my God. I mean, there is linens, there's so many different cloths. There's hand-dyed cloths, hand-dyed fabrics, hand-dyed threads. There's PDF patterns. There's everything out there. And I think that the internet was huge during the pandemic for a lot of people. And I think it kind of, the pandemic kind of revived it. It kind of revived this craft. And now it has created this wonderful community that we have now called Flosstube on YouTube. And it's like everybody loves watching Flosstube because you get to see, like, there's hundreds and thousands of patterns out there. But we get to see them because we're watching other people and we get inspired by what they're doing. And then not only are we seeing all these different patterns, but we're also seeing how people are stitching them with different threads, where they're stitching with different fabrics, it's just amazing of what we have out there. And this community is so awesome. I mean, it is like a huge community where you make friendships, and it's a long-lasting friendships over a needle, a thread, and fabric. And I absolutely love it. And that's kind of why I wanted to kind of start these type of videos that do like the question and answers. And so this is my very first one. A little bit rough, and I promise I'll get better. But as you know, if you've been watching my YouTube, my Flosstube, I'm getting ready to move. So it's going to be better. I'm not going to be stuck in the living room, sitting on the floor with all my boxes that I'm packing up to move and so forth. The lighting's going to be better. Actually, everything's just going to be a little bit different. So for the first month or so, we're probably going to be a little bit cumbersome. But if you have any questions and you want to know something and you want me to research it and do a video on it, I definitely will. I'm going to be doing videos on samplers. I'm going to be doing stuff about how to cross stitch. I'm going to be doing the differences in all the fabrics that we have. What can you cross stitch on? There's so many different things that I can sit here and talk about. And as I said, I'm not an expert, but I just want to bring you a lot of information about it. And there are so many questions that people are still asking that I thought I would help answer little by little. So if you do have any questions, put them below, and hey, I'll make you a video. All right, until next time, when we come up with another topic in video number 2. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.